Crowhill here. Today we review an IPA and discuss the pendulum. Hello and welcome to Beer and Conversation with Pigweed and Crowhill. Good evening, Pigweed.
Good evening, Crowhill.
So, what is on your mind?
I'm wondering, is the pendulum swinging back?
The pendulum. What?
The thing that goes back and forth.
Yeah. I got that. So, what? Like, in what context?
Okay,
At the Smithsonian, that big pendulum.
I love that thing.
Isn't that cool?
You just wait there for an hour to see it knock over one.
Yeah, you sit there for all that time waiting for the Earth to rotate enough so the pendulum knocks down the next.
No. I'm talking about the way social dynamics. I think is the way
okay.
Social ideas.
Yeah.
So, on a number of key issues, I have long held the minority position, and I might be able to include you on a lot of them, or maybe all of them. The wrong side of history, as they like to say.
Yes.
I want to go through some of these key issues and ask if the tide is turning.
If the tide is turning.
Or is this just misplaced optimism on my part to prevent utter despair?
Okay, but that raises another question. Why are we always in the minority?
We're going to get to that right after this beer.
Okay, very good. So first, let's take a look at this. Another Terrapin beer from Terrapin, not the Maryland Terrapins. This is from Atlanta, Georgia.
Those of us who are in the University of Maryland area.
Yeah. We think of Terrapins, yeah. This is Hopsecutioner IPA.
Nice.
And it says right at the top of the can the hops that are used. Warrior, Chinook, Simcoe, Amarillo, Cascade, Centennial. It's a lot of hops.
It is a lot of hops, and it is refreshingly hops I'm familiar with. There's so many new hops coming onto the market that sometimes there'll be 4 hops in a beer, and I've never heard of one of them.
I know. That's kind of weird.
So this is good. I've heard of all of them. I've never made the effort to brew. I haven't brewed a batch big enough to use 6 different hops.
I've never used
2. I'm a 2 hop guy. And so what do we have here? We have a 7.3, and apparently it's for campers and backpackers because we get the old
pack in, pack out.
Pack in, pack out.
Yeah. Right. So the question is, it's nice and clear. I like this.
I've had enough of the hazies.
Getting kind of tired of the hazy nonsense.
Ooh, you're right.
But the aroma is
solid.
The aroma is not the greatest. It's something funky about the aroma.
Oh, I like. Well, I'm not saying it's great. I'm just saying it's prevalent.
But the hop flavor is amazing. I'm not a fan of the aroma. When I first poured this thing and gave it a whiff, it was like, what the heck is going on?
After a couple of minutes sitting there, I think
sitting here, it calms down.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah,
okay.
After you give it a minute to calm down. But
so, if you're looking for one of those over 7% IPAs with plenty of hops and not all that silly haziness, I guess I go for this one.
Yeah, it's good. But if you're gonna get this one, and I encourage you to give it a try, pour it and let it sit for a minute, because right out of the can, it's. I thought the smell was a little funky. But.
Well, that could. I don't know. Does this one have a date on it?
Ooh, that's a good question.
IPAs should be drunk fresh.
Yeah.
And they generally do have some indication, probably a stamp on the bottom.
No stamp on the bottom.
Okay. Yeah, maybe it's on the box that you get. I would say, my understanding is 3 months is the cutoff. On I went to get.
That's an interesting question. Maybe it is a little old.
What was that? What is that? My favorite not Duclaw. The DC Brow.
DC Brow, yeah.
Corruption.
Right.
I got a 6 of that, and I was so fired up, and I got it, and it was so bad. Drank the first one thinking, I don't know, maybe it's my taste buds. I drank the second one, I'm like, all right, this doesn't seem quite right. It was 14 months old.
Ooh, yeah, and they took it back.
They did take it back.
Yeah.
And because you have to have somebody who, this is a legit liquor store. I mean, they generally keep their eye on stuff, and you need to keep your eye on that kind of thing because the the manufacturer doesn't want a guy like me buying it going, I'm never drinking that again.
Right.
Their beer's terrible.
Right.
No, it's not terrible. It's because the beer guy left it on the shelf for 14 months.
All right, so speaking about keeping your eyes on things, what is this? I'm trying to keep my eye on this pendulum that you're invoking in my mind.
Let me clarify this a little bit. My question is, am I living in an echo chamber the way that I accuse so many liberals of doing? Only listening to the voices that agree with them.
Yes.
So is it a combination of my Twitter feed and the conservative sites that I visit that I'm getting a false impression of things going my way, or is it real?
Okay. So
hold on, but to address your point that you brought up, by minority position, I mean that I'm not on the mainstream media / academia / Democrat Party / Hollywood celebrity position.
Right.
But if you look at the actual real world numbers, in some cases I'm probably not in the minority.
Yes.
But I would say in terms of the loudest voice.
Like just for example, believing that men are men and women are women.
Yeah, transing the kids and all of that.
You're in the majority, but you're not in the popular what gets all the attention position. Yeah.
So that's what I'm talking about. So, well, yes, I may be in the majority in real numbers, but am I seeing actual movement of the pendulum back my way on that popular level? And so let's just start with number one. Well, you brought it up. The transing.
Well, actually, I want to back up just a little bit.
Feel free.
Because I think the whole question of whether you're in an echo chamber, it's an important question.
It is, and this is I'm not setting this up for my own. I mean this. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's an important question. I saw this video just yesterday, I think, where this woman. It's one of these things where you have a video of a video.
Okay.
And this woman is reacting to a video kind of behind her,
Videoing herself.
Reacting to a video. It gets a little deep there. So she is watching this video where this woman is complaining about something or other. I don't know what it is. And she sends the video to her boyfriend. And her boyfriend opens up the very same video, and the comments on that video are different. So the girl opens up the video, and it's some sort of a guy-girl kind of a thing. And she sees a bunch of comments that are in favor of the woman making the video. She forwards the very same video to her boyfriend. He opens up the video. He's seeing different comments that are like, no, she's a lunatic, and this kind of thing. So the question then becomes, we think we're living in the same world as our neighbor, as our friend, but we're not, because everybody's feed, everybody's perception of reality is curated by this machine out there that does all this stuff. Okay, I know that you are a blah 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 blah.
Well, we just talked about this off screen about the Jack Dorsey and the algorithm deciding how you think. Are we in the sense that, do we have more free will now, or we have more free will when we were all feeding off of the same 3 channels on TV and I Love Lucy and Walter Cronkite, and we all had the same? So in a way, we think that was a time where we had such limited information that we were all mind driven into the same thinking, and now we're there's so much information available that we're all free to think.
We think.
I think Jack Dorsey's onto something.
Yeah.
It's the opposite.
Yeah. We think that because we have so many options out there, because there are 800 zillion cable channels, because there are 1 trillion websites, because there are a billion Twitter feeds.
I'm so free thinking and so free willing my ass through life.
But what the real truth is
that the
AI
you've taken my topic off to new lands. I love it though. Go ahead.
The AI driven crap that we're being fed is going into a hermeneutical spiral. It's taking us down.
The my feed
Yeah.
is now funneling me.
It's telling me the things that I want to see,
Yes.
the things that I want to hear, the things that I want to believe. It's
Rather than when back, as opposed to when you had 3 channels and 4 newspapers plus
Yeah.
your local newspaper, and we would say, "Gosh, they didn't have access to all the real information out there." Really?
yeah. No, the truth of the matter is that nowadays we don't have access to all the real information out there, because when I see a video, I might see. Okay, first of all, the video itself might not even show up in my feed. It might show up in this person's feed and not in my feed. But even if the same video shows up in both of our feeds, the comments will be different,
And that will influence your reaction to it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you are a comments guy,
Yeah, exactly.
Probably be the best to just have your own mind, but nobody does. Everyone wants to say,
Well-
but what are other people thinking about that?
Yeah. See, that's something where I departed from what this little video was saying. Is this person was saying, when you see a video, you want to read the comments to see how everybody else is reacting, because I'm never that way. Like, I see a video, I form an impression.
But you do recognize that that's largely going on.
Yes, that is largely what's going on. I don't give a crap what everybody else in the world says about the video, personally. But I know a lot of people don't know what... It's kind of like...
I don't know what I think until I see...
It's kind of like after you watch the presidential debate, you don't know what to think until you hear the commentary afterwards. You know? Like, I'm like, what are you talking about? I listened to it, I know what to think.
I was there.
But there are a lot of people who, and this is a very human, very natural, I'm not dissing this, it's something that's a little alien to me, but I understand that a lot of people want to know how other people are reacting, because that is part of the information that they incorporate into how they're going to react.
Okay, so that's a very good setup for... Now let's get into the issues.
Sure.
So issue number 1
Okay.
is 47 genders BS and trans madness and, castrating our children.
Right.
I feel like I'm seeing some motion back my way.
Well, it certainly seems that way, because in Europe, a lot of in my echo chamber, what I'm hearing is that in
Medical institutions.
in Europe, they're starting to back away from this kind of crap. They're starting to say, okay, maybe we've gone too far. We're not going to continue with the same nonsense that we were doing before.
Right. So I've seen the members of the American College of Pediatrics. I mean, aren't those the people that you want to be weighing in on this?
You would think so.
Have signed on to a declaration calling prominent U.S. medical organizations to stop performing experimental and harmful transgender procedures on children.
Okay.
So that would make you say...
Yeah,
the pendulum is coming my way.
Yeah.
And then I also saw, so this is in my feed.
Right.
Then I also saw that in a Texas hospital, a doctor who called out, who is a whistleblower,
Right.
in his hospital, has now been indicted by the Biden administration on 4 felonies, who probably made up felonies.
Okay.
Because he exposed the transing of the kids.
Okay, so unfortunately, you're dealing with multiple conflicting realms here.
Yeah.
So we have one realm is, what does the public think? Another realm is, what does a community of specialists think?
Yeah.
Another realm is, what does a political party think? Right?
Yeah.
Because like,
But I need to bring these together for my pendulum theory.
Yeah.
To be satisfying to me that it's coming my way. But continue.
Yeah. So if we look at what does the public think, the public has never been behind this LGBTQ.
So true.
They've normal people say, what are you talking about? There's male dogs and there's female dogs. There's male birds and there's female birds, there's male humans and there's female humans, and you're just full of crap and thinking that if you like chop off a piece, you can change them from one to another. For the vast majority of humanity thinks that that is insane and stupid. But that doesn't mean that that wasn't, that some profession, some group of so-called experts didn't get captured by that kind of ideology and promote it. Yes,
for one.
Right. Yeah. So you have these various societies and associations and people who are supposedly educated who fall into these trendy nonsense, right? So there's that side of it, but then there's also the political side of it, where Joe Biden, says, in order to reach the people that I want to reach to get reelected, I have to say these stupid things.
Right, but in my pendulum theory,
yeah,
are you see what I'm looking for is affirmation, or dude, affirmation that I'm right, or dude, you're in your bubble and
no,
probably it's not happening.
I think the pendulum is swinging away from the LGBT stuff.
Now, yes. I also saw speaking of LGBT. I saw the fact that this is kind of weird. It's like where a negative is a positive or something like that. The fact that there are 10 NFL teams that declined to put out their own team logos in pride colors this year, unlike other years. And so, of course, it doesn't include either of our teams.
No, unfortunately.
So this would be like an indicator that...
Although I might become a Kansas City Chiefs fan. I mean, for a few different reasons. But, there seems to be...
But then, at the same time, then I read this article, this is the Federalist, about... This is not downtown, not New York City or San Francisco. Nowhere, Ohio.
Right.
A beach on the Lake Erie.
Yeah.
Has a gyrating men's celebration, and the writer is going, it's not some weird tiny town in Ohio. This is going on everywhere in small towns, and I'm like, God, you just sucked the air out of my pendulum. Like maybe it's not going anywhere at all. Yeah. And the other one I saw was that I thought, okay, on the one hand, it's good that this lawsuit is going to the Supreme Court about the Wisconsin school system hiding. Gender, conversion, whatever, from parents. Yeah. I'm going, well, that's good that this is going to be taken care of. But why is the Wisconsin school system willing to fight their way to the Supreme Court to keep sexual information away from the parents? I'm going, all right, there's no pendulum going on here.
Yeah. So, I think... Another thing that we have to think about when we're looking at these kind of issues is to what extent does an elite minority run the show? So, like just the other 100%. day, I was talking to somebody who was in the association space, and they were talking about how this association, which you would think, I'm not going to name the association, but you would think that this association was very focused on practical science and realistic real-world stuff, okay? But the association has been caught up in a lot of agenda-driven stuff. A lot of, we should be advocating for this, and we should be pushing for that, okay? Yeah. Now, the question that immediately raises...
How about provide a service and make some money?
Yeah. What's wrong with that? But the thing that immediately comes into my mind is probably you've got 2 or 3% of this association are these really loudmouthed advocates who want something. They want to push for whatever it is, whatever it is. Yeah. And 97% of them are like, no, that's really not my thing. And they don't care.
Do you think do you think it's that small to move the needle
Yes.
to push a corporate policy?
Yes, because
you don't have to get to 10 or 15 or
I don't
which
think
still
so.
seems ridiculously low. But
I don't think so, because I think the vast majority of people
go along, get along.
They either just say, okay, fine, whatever, or they're sort of somewhat in the same camp as those people.
What could it hurt?
Yeah, okay, fine, if that's important,
we seem
whatever.
We seem like we're compassionate people.
And then what happens is you have some relatively small group that say, screw you, I'm leaving, and they get out. But I think, yes, you can have a very small group of advocates who push things way too far, and that can result in the organization itself going into a nosedive, because other people will say, I'm not on with that, and then they leave.
All right, well, let's get on to the particulars.
Okay.
Climate alarmism.
Oh, gosh.
Is, of course, I'm seeing a lot of scientific, this is not really happening. This is not that big of a deal. Look at the global history, all of the, and people going, I'm not willing to crash the economy.
Yeah.
There are various directions of people going, okay, yes, it is happening, but we're better off spending our money for mitigation rather than that. So, but a lot of people going, I've had it. This is BS.
I think a lot of people.
In a way, but again, am I just looking at my own sources?
Yeah.
Or to the topic of the show, is it swinging my way?
Okay, so 2 responses. The first response is, I think a lot of people have the experience that I have of going down to the boat launch. My dad would take me down to Sandy Point State Park.
Since you were 7.
Since I was 7, and the water was up to a certain place. And when I go down there now, the water is up to the exact same place. And people are talking about all this kind of crazy, everything is changing and the climate and the water, sea levels are rising. It's like, I'm sorry, a lot of people are looking around and saying, you've been making these
said this 30 years ago.
You've been saying this for so
12
long.
years, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, are you getting that?
After a certain point, you get sick of the repetitive false predictions okay, so that's
now it starts to hit the wallet.
Yes.
And now when you're not allowed to heat your own home in the winter, now people are going, wait. Now you're paying attention more. It's like, oh, you mean I just need to recycle? I mean, just need to have, instead of one trash can, I have 2 trash cans. All right, I mean, I could do that. I care about the environment, and I think at some point when your energy prices are going up, and and nothing's really happening.
Yeah.
There's going to be some pushback, or am I in my echo chamber?
Yeah. So that's one side of it. One side of it, I think people are just saying, look, you're saying this kind of crap. I'm not seeing it. It's not true. However, there's also the cumulative effect of, we're teaching these kids in kindergarten, elementary school, junior high school. We're telling them all their life that we're
you don't learn about George
minds.
Washington.
Yeah.
You do learn about sex changes and the end of the planet.
We are bending their whole perspective towards a certain ideology, and that is going to have an effect. I mean, I think the public education system has become so ideological and so twisted toward a certain perspective that it has to stop.
All right, so I'm gonna say you're gonna give me a yes on the gender trans madness swinging back my way.
Yes.
And climate alarmism.
Yeah, I think
you're gonna give me a yes.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. How about this? The St. George Floyd, BLM, DEI, equity, defund the police, etc.
Drop defund the police, and I would say no. I think the public has has reacted against defund the police, but I really wish we were done with BLM, DEI, and St. George Floyd, but I don't think so. I don't think that one has turned yet.
But we have seen we've seen corporations dropping their DEI departments.
Yes.
We've seen university systems dropping theirs.
Yeah, but not enough. I don't think it's tipping enough.
So this this could be a case of me selecting confirmation biasing.
Yes.
My wins in spite of the losses that are going on. Because I totally acknowledge that what I'm doing, that I'm confirmation. Well, actually, with all of these, I'm totally confirmation biased. Every time I see a win, I embrace it like it's a pendulum swing, not realizing that I'm hanging on to this pendulum going in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
But thinking that, all right.
So that one, because I watch this. Now, maybe I'm biased a little bit because of what I see on LinkedIn, because that's my main source of information on this stuff, and
which is not
necessarily representative,
but balances out a conservative. This is not a conservative view.
Is not.
Yeah. So it's balancing out the guy who's only seeing conservative input.
Yeah.
Your LinkedIn would balance, give you a view of maybe what's really going on.
Well, see, I think LinkedIn has a bit of a liberal bias, honestly, but I think while there are some people,
do I need more of that to temper my optimism, which I just don't want to have tempered. I just just enjoy the idea that my optimistic view of the pendulum coming my way is a real thing.
Yes, I want to believe that people are done with BLM, people are done with DEI, people are done with George Floyd, all that kind of stuff. I want to believe that, but I don't think it's true.
Yeah, every time I think I've got to win, I'm like, well, every time I think I've won a skirmish.
Yeah.
I realize I've just lost the battle.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you're not helping here. How about this one? The handling of COVID. Are we now? Is it now coming to light how poorly this was done, or am I in my chamber and really largely people believe that we did the right thing from lockdown, from masking, from not blaming China, from that? I feel like you got to give me this one. This one's definitely swinging my way.
I think it's partially swinging that way. I don't think it's swinging hard enough. What I would like to see is people saying, let's change the law so governors can't do this crap anymore. Let's make sure that we have some sort of an organ in government to make sure that we're not getting a biased perspective on these issues that's put out to the public. But I don't see that. What I see is there was, and part of the problem here is that it's so fear-driven. The COVID thing had so much to do with...
We have to turn all of the power over to the elites who know what they're doing, or we're all going to die.
Yes, it was all that we're all going to die. Things are terrible. People are dying. I have asthma. It was so fear-based. And now I think people are just kind of gently getting over it. I don't see a big swing. I wish there was a big swing, but I don't see a really big swing.
Fauci go to jail?
No, I don't think. I think a lot of people think that he was just doing the best that he could do. Now, what I think about Fauci is a different matter, but I think most people are just
pendulum wise.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think the vast majority of people are seeing. Or
standing around and going, remember what idiots we were? Where you see a guy swimming in a pool with a mask on. I mean, weren't we morons at the time? Well, we were, we
were doing our best. We were doing our best, trying to do it.
So all right, I guess
I guess my main reaction to the whole question is it's certainly true that we live in an echo chamber.
And more so that
every day.
In this Jack Dorsey's view of having focused. What do you call that when you feeds and all of that?
Right. Yeah.
That is not giving you more.
No, it's not
a better understanding.
It's not giving you. It's not giving you a better understanding. We're exposed to information that confirms our biases, and that's not a good thing. So, I think there are also some somewhat objective tests of this question, because I think for example, the Fox News conservative worldview told us certain things, like there was going to be a red wave. It didn't happen.
Right.
Told us that there was going to be, back with the whole election interference thing and things about how the voting machines were wrong, and how there have been a lot of things that the right wing echo chamber predicted and said, there was definitely going to be this court decision. There was definitely going to be, this legal matter was going to go this way. And those things haven't happened. So I think to some extent, if you're keeping your eye on the prediction versus what actually happens, then you start to temper your trust in the echo chamber, I think.
Well, there's some of these topics that were covered when they. Oh, this is what I'm saying. When they come back, let me just nail it with the trans issue.
Right.
I am predicting, and I predicted 4 years ago, that at some point we will look at this as the satanic panic.
Yeah.
And we will be like, what in the H were we thinking about?
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Absolutely.
10 years from now, and hopefully people will go to jail. But when I hear people say, and actually for all of these, I'm hoping what happens for all of these, that people say, that was a weird time. Remember when we were all thinking about that? Yes. And I'll go, no. We
weren't all thinking.
We weren't all thinking about that. I was never on your side.
Yeah. It's like my dad used to say.
Wow, isn't that funny? Like backpack. That was funny. We were all thinking. No, we weren't.
Yeah, my dad used to say, "Hold up one finger when you say we."
Exactly.
Yeah.
So anyway, I don't know how much pendulum swinging is going on and how much echo chambering is going on.
Here's the problem. How do we know?
Because
what information source do we have that's not biased by this whole echo chamber crap that we deal with all the time?
Is echo chamber free will access to all information?
Yeah.
When if we were all taking in the same feed, but then you'd have to say, well, who's providing the feed?
You know what we should do?
Okay.
We should just have Joe Biden decide what we all get to listen to.
That would be great.
We'd hear a bunch of cackling.
We hear some cackling and some slurring and some whispering and shouting.
Yes. That would make us all better.
All right. I'm not sure if I've solved anything here, but I am aware of...
We are aware of the echo chamber. We understand it. And we understand the dangers, and we understand that we need to watch out for that. But we don't have a good solution.
I don't have a good solution. But in these hateful topics,
yes,
I am rooting for the pendulum. And hopefully a year from now, we will say yes, the pendulum is swinging our way. But you can't guarantee me that. I'm going 5 for 5 on the pendulum.
I'm not guaranteeing it. But a year from now, we'll find out.
We'll update.
All right. Cheers. Thanks so much for listening to Beer and Conversation with Pigweed and Crowhill. Remember to visit us at pigweedandcrowhill.com or send us an email at pigweedshow@gmail.com.